We hope so. So now we're going to have another special change maker from USD. As Kyle Miller is a junior, and he, in a class Lead 350, developed this initiative with one of his colleagues, one of his peers, on how to create an anti-bullying campaign. And this is a big issue, and for those of you who have kids, mine is 12, and I'm always panicking. What should I tell him? What should I do? Because he's skinny and long like me. So one of the things is that they're thinking, how do we educate our children? How do we create awareness? How do we change practices? How do we develop empathy? So Kyle is going to tell you all about it, and on top of everything, Kyle is the quarterback of our football team. I mean, where does he find the time? That's what he's going to tell you, because you can be a change maker, everybody can be a change maker, and he looks super special, but he's just like any of us here. So let's welcome Kyle Miller.
Hello, Changemakers. Welcome to the main event. We are truly blessed to be able to participate in this week's festivities. I know the commonality that brings us all together today is making a change, and I thank you for taking time out of your week to be able to make that change in our community. We're all here because we want to make a difference. It's that simple. Whether it's a difference in our own lives or the lives around us, change is taking place at all levels here at Changemaker Fest. And I'm excited for our school and our community to be part of this great opportunity. A little bit about myself and my change making around campus. Like she said, I'm currently a redshirt sophomore for the USD football team. We actually have a game at 6 p.m. on Saturday versus Morehead State in Torreo Stadium. I'd love to see some of you guys there. Another huge part of my life on campus is the advisory boards that I serve on, both in the leadership department and the athletic department. Outside of school, I actually travel the country. Weekends in the spring, weeks at a time in the summer, college mentoring for the National Football Academies. What I do is I mentor kids whose aspirations are to play college football. I tell them my story and the struggles that I went through in the recruiting process, as well as teach them fundamentals that they need in order to play at the next level. And what I'm probably known for the most around campus, especially in the leadership department, is my role as the Director of Operations for the nonprofit student organization called Lace Up, Stand Up. What people don't understand about me, and probably much like some of you guys too, is that I almost find it exhilarating to wake up super early in the morning and stay up super late at night, because change making makes me feel alive. There's almost a sense of pride in knowing that we're putting in all this work in order to make change. It's common language in souls to answer the question of, hey, what's up, what's new, with, just trying to change the world. And I hope after sharing my story, we can all celebrate change making in this mindset of continually trying to better our community around us. So like she said, last spring I joined a leadership and groups class, and during the first part of the semester we were given the social change project. The goal of the project was as a class to create social change in the San Diego community. After multiple classes of deliberating what the definition was and what change we actually wanted to make, my roommate and now program director for Lace Up Stand Up, Chris Barrett, and I had a conversation one late Tuesday night that would change our career paths as we knew them. While sitting on the couch thinking of ideas, one idea we hadn't talked about yet was bullying. Him and I both had different experiences of this in high school and middle school, so we started doing some research, and we found this story. The story was of a boy who wore different colored shoelaces to school and was actually bullied for it. Some of his classmates actually stood up against the bully individually and failed. So what they decided to do is, as a whole school, wear these different colored shoelaces that the boy was wearing to stand up against bullying. And that's where the idea of Lace Up, Stand Up was born. The challenge was to present this idea to our class and have everybody buy into it. And that is the challenge about change making. Creating a shared vision and having everybody be as passionate about it as Chris and I were. Part of the reason I'm up here today is because I stayed true to my passions. And even though there's only 3 of us from the class that are still in Lace Up Stand Up, and we continue to face challenges every day, we realize that change making is a process, and failure might be part of that process, but it's not the end of it. Since the class has ended, we look to expand nationally, go into middle schools and high schools and teach them leadership techniques that they could use to stop bullying on their campuses. And if it weren't for me pursuing a leadership minor and enhancing all the opportunities I had on campus, none of this change making would be possible. And you heard me say passion. Passion is a common word we use to describe our love for change making. For my passions is football and stopping bullying, and like you guys, my passion is blank. We've all heard it, but whether it's as small as pencils or as big as socioeconomic well-being in Ghana, we all have different passions. What most people don't know is what the word passion really comes from. The word passion comes from the Latin root passio, which means to suffer. And I know suffering is not the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of passion. But what we ignore is the vulnerability it takes to be passionate about something. Think of all the times you had to endure and put in that extra effort because of your passion. We find these hardships so bearable though, because we share them with people who have the same passion as we do. So for me, what makes grinding in the weight room, going to early morning meetings, being the first one in, last one out of every team activity, doing extra sprints on the field worth it, is knowing that I'm not alone in my passion, and neither are you. The important part of passion is that it needs to be harnessed, and one needs to be able to recognize why they're doing what they're doing. What we need to understand is that change is for both self-fulfillment and the fulfillment of others. When it comes to my personal leadership style, I've noticed I use a combination of all different leadership techniques. Through football, lace-up stand-up, being a business major, or even being a big brother or a son. We all have a unique set of assets that we could bring to our change-making efforts. And I encourage you to encompass them all in being the leader that you want to be and moving closer to your desired goal. So for those of you who aren't familiar, in football, you have 3 attempts to get 10 yards, or you have to punt the ball to the other team. If you get 10 yards, you get another set of 3 downs. This is called getting a first down, or moving the chains. While some think the goal of the offense is to score a touchdown on every play, what people don't know is that the quarterback's job is to only move the ball 10 yards at a time. The thought is that your chances of getting a touchdown every play are the same as making a full court shot, or hitting a grand slam, or any analogy that seems unlikely. But by moving the ball 10 yards every play, you're continually driving down the field, and eventually they give you 6 points anyway, and you reach your goal. So what I challenge you to do today is get first downs in your change-making efforts. Whether it's doing one big task or multiple small tasks, get a step closer to your ultimate goal, rather than trying to throw up Hail Marys and hoping for a touchdown. A huge part of me moving the chains in my everyday life is in moving them in the relationships that I hold with the people that have gotten me to where I am today. I find that appreciation for relationships is crucial with the people I work with. I do this through my motivational morning texts. If you ask some of my family, friends, or people I work with at Lace Up Stand Up, every weekday morning I wake up at 6 o'clock a.m., I grab my phone and I send an inspirational text, followed by the saying, "Make it a great day." As much as some of my group is actually annoyed with me daily, there is that one day that someone wakes up and is dreading the day, looks at their phone, and is suddenly inspired to get up and attack the day, and actually appreciates me reminding them to do so. I'm a firm believer that your first thought in the morning sets your attitude for the whole day. If your first thought is, I do not want to get up right now, you will be dragged through the day rather than pushing the day forward. This appreciation comes from a place of knowing who really makes it about the we and not about the I. We are always so quick to applaud the people that are at the top and have made it about themselves, but what we refuse to realize is that we're applauding the wrong people. The people we need to appreciate the most are the people that are in the shadows of the glory and put in all the hard work without needing or asking for any recognition. We need to pay it forward to people like our parents. For some of you, your husbands, your wives, your coworkers, or anyone else who's gotten you to the place that you are today. Why? Because no one sees the passion they have for you and for your success. In closing, I leave this group with a challenge. I challenge you this week to get first downs in your change-making efforts. I challenge you to have the we in mind. I challenge you to embrace your passio and those who share it with you. And lastly, I challenge you to show appreciation, because appreciation is contagious in all of our change-making efforts. Thank you, and make it a great day.